Hey, how's it going? So, it is Tuesday morning, and I don't have a route today, and I'm off of school. So, my wife works nights. I'm here picking her up, and I thought I'd talk about take since I got some time, talk about some of the fastest carriers I know and kind of what I've learned from them. So, first off, some regular carriers I know. So, there was a rural carrier in Port Washington named Katie, who was training me to help take over her route sometimes so I could fill in when she's gone. I never wound up doing it, just didn't work out, but I did do the training. And while I was there, what I noticed is she, like, with her flats, instead of tacoing them like I do, she stood them up. But what really stood out is when she pulled down. When she pulled down her flats, she'd pull them out into hard trace, which is what I do. She'd crisscross them. So one address is standing up, the next address is laying down, and so on. That's what I do too. It's just she would do it much more quickly than me. Um, when I do it, I kind of, take my time to make sure things don't slide around too much. I want to make sure that addresses don't get mixed up. But what she would do is she'd, kind of like, she'd grab one, set it in the tray, have the next hand going, flipping that one, turning it. So she'd have that motion going. And what would wind up happening is they would be laying in the tray looking kind of sloppy. So she'd do like 20 or 30 addresses and then she'd grab it and kind of scoop it up, tighten it all up, and then she'd move on and do 20 or 30 more addresses. And again, they'd be laying down kind of sloppy, scoop them up, straighten them up. Um, and it's never worked out for me, but it's just something that works for her, and it makes her pull down much faster than me. Okay, another carrier I want to talk about is the one who trained me, and that's Perry. So Perry, he delivers out of a POV like I do. Um, and so when he comes in, he puts his flats in very neatly, but he does it quickly. He's got the stack and he's putting them in quickly, and he goes to the hot case, takes care of that, and he takes his DPS. He cases all his DPS, which I don't do anymore. I used to. He does it all very quickly, and if you look at his case, it's all very neat, and he never struggles. He's not struggling to put the DPS in, like I sometimes do. Sometimes if I grab too big of a stack and try to put it in, I'm having issues, right? But yeah, he gets that all done quickly. And then when he moves on to his packages, he marks everything. So everything gets a parcel marker. The small ones get a parcel marker, the large ones get a parcel marker. And then when he pulls down, he pulls into Rubbermaid tubs with a strap laying in them. He pulls them down crisscrossed, and then when it's full, he straps it together in a bundle and he writes the number on. So this is my first bundle. Then the next one will be a number two. He'll just write on the top piece of mail, write one, two, three, whatever, however many bundles he has, and then he sets them neatly on his cart. So everything he does, he's not skipping steps. Everything is very neat. He's not being sloppy with it. But because he's been doing it for 10 years, he's got that muscle memory built up. He's got kind of that drive, to do things quickly. Um, and for me, I struggle with that. Like, I can get that going for a little bit. Like, oh, I'm going. And then I'll be like, oh, I'll settle in a little bit. And then, like, yeah, no, I got to get going. But yeah, he's got that built in. So that's one thing I noticed. And also, when he drives like a maniac. So he'll go really fast. He won't really stop at the mailbox. He'll kind of like slow. He'll be rolling by a little bit slowly as he sets things in. Then he'll take off, just very, very fast, not wasting any time out on the road. Okay, so those are those veterans, and like I said, I think you've probably seen some veterans like this where they've got that drive to get things done quickly, and then they've got that muscle memory where they can just do things quickly, even if they take all those extra steps, they just do that quickly. Okay, now on to some RCAs. So some RCAs I've worked with now. Both of these people have since become regulars. So the first one is Jeremy, and Jeremy, I've worked with him in Grafton. When I started filling in Grafton, I did terrible, but thanks to him teaching me how they do things, and thanks to their patience, I was able to be somewhat helpful, I think, there. But anyways, the way Jeremy does things, when he comes in, he'll usually get his keys and wheel the packages, the large parcels. Just grab the hamper parcels, take them right out to his truck, and I've seen him like kneeling in his truck and he's writing something on them. So I don't know if it's a customer number or just the row that they belong in or what, but he's writing something on them. And then I see him lining some of them up on the shelf while he sets others in piles behind him. So I'm guessing what he's doing. He hasn't said this. What I'm guessing what he's doing is kind of like separating them by zone and then having the first zone lined up. Okay. What he's told me he does is he delivers the packages and then he pulls up the next group to him. So I'm guessing he's kind of using that shelf to line them up. Don't know that for sure. But then I guess he rides with them in the cab and then he just has the next one, delivers it, next one, delivers it. Okay? So I think that's what he's doing. He's kind of joked about these people who mark their parcels. He says they play with their parcels too much. They spend too much time doing that. They're petting them. That's what he said. But anyways, yeah, that's what he does with the large parcels. Now, with the small parcels, what I've seen him do is he'll set some of those flat trays. So they're like letter trays, but they're like 6 inches deep. They're a little bit deeper. And he'll set a bunch of those on a pipe cart, and he'll kind of like squat down next to the pipe cart with all his spurs, and he'll just put them in order. Like, okay, this one goes over here in front of this one, and this one goes behind that one. And he just kind of shove them in order right away. He doesn't sort them in any other way. He doesn't go to the case. He doesn't mark them. He's just quickly got them all lined up, squatting down, and putting them in order. Okay? So that's what I've learned from Jeremy. And also, yeah, he drives like a maniac too. One other thing about Jeremy. So there's this big apartment complex in Grafton. And what he told me he does when he delivers there, because they've got these banks of mailboxes. So you like go down the row and there's one mailbox on top and one below, and there's like 40 mailboxes in a row or something. So he'll go through and deliver the mail to all the mailboxes in the whole place. And then he'll come back and drop off the parcels. So he'll like go through and do all the mail, kind of snake through there, do all the mail at the mailboxes, and then he'll come back through and drop the large parcels. And at first I thought, well, you're driving in there twice. But yeah, but you get on that roll with doing the mail, and then you don't really worry about the parcels till you're all done. That goes pretty quickly, so I guess that's how he does them. All right. Another carrier I worked with in Grafton, so she was from another office. Her name's Karen, and I never really talked to her, but I noticed some things she was doing, and Jeremy kind of explained it to me. So one thing I noticed is she was using the load truck function. That's the first time I ever saw that being used outside of Amazon Sunday. So she was using load truck function, and it tells you the zone and the customer number. So she'd write that down, and that's how she put them in order. So she was, even though she didn't know the route, she would just put them in order that way instead of marking them. And since she didn't know the route, the scanner helped her out. For the small parcels, after she pulled down, so she took all of the mail and flats out of the case, she would then take the spurs, the small packages, over to the case and case those. I was like, what's she doing? And he explained to me, well, that's how she puts them in order. It makes sense. Like, if you don't know the route, you've got to look at the case to get the order. Anyways, just put them in the case. Use them that way. So she'd put them all in the case. Then she'd grab trays and pull them down. Okay. So those are some things I've learned from some of the fastest carriers I know. And again, I'm not saying they're the fastest carriers in the world. I've just noticed how early they get done. And I've been envious of them. All right. I will talk to you later. Hope you found this helpful, or at least somewhat interesting. Okay. Talk to you later.